Where should I stick this camera next? Like some of you, I've seen the fun YouTube videos like Casey where he sticks this in his rims, or Josh where he sticks it on some fireworks and blasts it off into the sky. And I instantly fell in love. I need it. As any normal person with a camera gear problem would say. The design is actually super smooth texture in white. Surprisingly, after a couple months, it still hasn't gotten dirty yet. Now, who would make an action camera in white? Insta360 would, because they don't give a fuck. My aunt needs to take notes and take that damn plastic off her couches already. It's super cute and small, weighing at only 35 grams. Our phones could never. For comparison, this Pro Max is 240 grams. The strong magnetic mounts make it super easy to change wherever you need it. In case you're worried, they also have backup locks, so they're really not going nowhere. It's so strong, to be honest. I didn't know how to take this Go 3 out. I thought I'd break it. You really need some force to get it out of its womb. I can relate. I was a C-section baby. I didn't want to leave either. That snap sound. Kittygasm. These come in 3 different versions, 32, 64, and 128 gigabytes. This one personally is the 64 gigabyte one. It shoots up to 2.7K in regular video. And then there's a setting called FreeFrame, which is 1440, but you can crop it any way you want later after you shoot it. You don't need a gimbal with this because it does have FlowState stabilization like their other cameras, and also horizon lock. If you want to use the audio on this, it does have a pair of built-in microphones, and also there's AI editing if you want to edit on the app on the go. What is this little camera for? Well, it's for someone who wants a small camera that can easily mount anywhere, and you can also monitor it. Something other cameras can't do without the added accessories, space, and weight. It's perfect for point of view, hands-free activities. For me, I was using it as my behind the scenes camera for a point of view shot to show me using my camera, if that makes sense. So you'll be seeing those a lot more in my review videos from now on. And I just remember seeing that point of view as the main angle when watching like street photography YouTube videos or those bike delivery videos. If you watch those too, you know what I mean. I've been camping a shit ton lately. Clearly, I've been very inspired by those cozy camping videos. I'm sure you've seen those things everywhere. And personally for me, I just found a lot of peace and healing in nature. And so much so that I actually got a designated car for camping this year. So obviously I wanted it for that. I wanted something that was small and easy to mount with some nice wide so you could see inside the Honda Element. I love that you can take this out and still control and see what the camera sees with this action pod. This is also great for tailgate cooking shots because this build is made with magnets, and also the car is made out of metal, so it's easy to stick it around and put in different locations back there. It's the camping and point of view for me. So is the image quality any good? There's been some debates about this, so yes and no. If I'm looking for the best quality in my camera arsenal, obviously I'm gonna go with my FX3 here. But for some nice wides in a tiny little package, it's not bad. There's actually 4 different options. They just updated and added a narrow version, which I'm gonna talk about the firmware update that they just announced a little bit later. But I did use the linear in action the most with the urban picture profile. But getting some nice wides in a tiny package, this isn't so bad. It's a small sensor, so once the sun or the light drops, I just stop using it because it does get kind of muddy and grainy, which is no surprise. But in the daytime though, she comes out to play. But every camera has their strengths and weaknesses, and that's why I have too many, and they all do different things. I use this in short bursts, but if you need it, it has no recording limit. The amount of accessories it comes with, it's such a deal. The hat mount, I ended up using this one the most. It was great for cooking shots and that point of view shot that I wanted for my camera. The pendant, I used this a bit, but I felt like if it was too low, my boobs would turn it in a way. That's just a personal problem. I might need to try it like up here where it's kind of flatter, but yes, TMI. The sticky base, which I haven't used yet, but I definitely should because I want to get some car mount shots on my road trips. Tripod with an extension arm. This quick release mount here. This one has a funny name. It's called the monkey tail. You could wrap this around anywhere. The best thing is I didn't notice until I watched someone's video, but the mounts fit both on the Go 3 camera by itself and also with the Action Pod, so you could interchange them. Speaking of Action Pod, what is an Action Pod? So the Action Pod is that housing device that the Go 3 camera sits in. And they say you can get 5-meter range between the camera and the Action Pod. I usually kept the Action Pod in my pocket though, because I did notice if I get too far, it would beep and then say it was disconnected, and I was just worried that it would stop recording for whatever reason, but it never did. It still kept recording. Actually, my problem was that I forgot to stop recording, so much so that I had like 10 or 11-minute clips sometimes. It happens. When monitoring though, there is a huge lag when viewing it. You also can't play back, so it was getting really annoying when the camera was mounted, say in the car or on my hat, and I just wanted to check out the last clip. It would say that you have to put the camera back in the Action Pod to see it. The camera itself is waterproof up to 5 meters, but the Action Pod is not, so don't submerge it. It is splash proof, however. The camera itself now shoots 45 minutes. The Go 2, the previous version, only shot up to 30, so little improvements here and there. But if you keep it in the Action Pod, you get up to 170 minutes. Well, bam. For more hands-free shooting, you can talk to it and tell it to start recording and stop recording. Example, start recording. It works. Stop recording. God, why doesn't my FX3 do that? That'd be so helpful. Sony, are you listening? Put it in. Let me turn it off. It does get hot, but I noticed that it never overheated or even had the warning symbol, and I did shoot outside in the sun during the summertime. All right, new update. Conveniently, I made this video so late that there's a whole nother update, but it has a bunch of new features, which is really helpful. You can control it now with your Apple Watch, something I don't have, unfortunately, or the Insta Action remote, or the selfie stick that has like buttons on it. I don't have that one though, in case talking to it is not enough. They updated the time-lapse mode, so now you could watch the framing and change the duration and intervals. They added stabilization to low light. You can also use this as a webcam now. Should I bring back my Twitch stream? You could add markers, and also they added some new languages. Huge firmware upgrade, and I'm sure they fixed a bunch of other bugs and fixes as well. Pros and cons. You could film in any orientation. You could have it this way, and you could still shoot 16:9, even if it's in this vertical mode, which is insane. So you could mount it in any direction and not have to worry. My camera can't do that. It's durable and really well built. I love the design. It's tiny, and being able to monitor with this flip screen and control it wirelessly with the Action Pod, chef kiss. These magnet mounts with a backup lock, fucking brilliant. I hate screwing things in just as much as any other person who got time for that. The accessories, so useful and so easy. No straps around your head and your chest and shit. Gone are those days. All the new angles and flexibility you can get with this thing really gives you some fresh, interesting perspectives for your videos. Cons, because it's all built in, you can't change the battery, you can't change the card, so if you run out of storage, you fucked. You need to take this and dump it first. You can't play back shots when these two aren't connected first. The slow motion tops off at 120 frames per second in 1080. No 240, no 4K 60, it doesn't even have 4K to be honest. Footage is great in the daytime, but not so much at night. And lastly, because I'm picky, I wish it came with a case or at least like a lens cover, but I just throw this in my backpack and wrap it up. I'm having lots of fun sticking this camera in different places that my other cameras can't go. It's really nice to have your hands free, which I don't right now, clearly, to do activities and film it. This has opened up a part of my brain to new angles that I never thought of. When you're filming for a while, you have your typical go-to angles and camera movement, but I still have so many ideas that I want to try out, and any camera that keeps you creatively motivated is worth it. The footage edit is next, so stay tuned for that. You do you, fam, and I'll see you when I see you. Done. That's a wrap.